This video is going to be pretty pretentious, but that's just what I was feeling, I guess. So just bear with me. Night in the Woods has a special place in my heart because it has helped me through my darkest time. The first 2 months of 2017 was the worst year of my life. My family was religious and I got panic attacks because I thought I would go to hell for some reason, and no one on earth could help me, not my mom or dad, or anyone really. I was basically helpless, and it was one of the worst feelings ever. You can't run and hide because how can you run from God? You're basically doomed. I felt like throwing up all the time, and my heart was racing from the moment I woke up to the moment I laid myself in bed at night. My favorite food was just something that existed. I was crying all the time. I was miserable. But then I saw Jacksepticeye uploaded his first video of Night in the Woods, and he nor the developer had the idea of how much it would help me. The game started with May at the bus station waiting for her parents to pick her up, but they didn't come, so she walked home. And you see all these fireflies with their beautiful colors, and the train moving in the background. It was very calming to see, and it was played by one of my favorite YouTubers too. I didn't play it because I didn't have much money nor the proper equipment to run the game, so I did what anybody in my position would do, watching other people play it. I have always loved Jack. He has this view of the world that is similar to mine, and he likes tiny details and beautiful art styles. Also, he gave those characters really great voices.
Hi, Angus. It's me!
It's me.
Wait, what?
Since Jack chose Greg's route, I had to watch Swing Point to see B's route. The game was colorful and beautiful, and May has just dropped out of college. And at the time, I was about to enter college, and I thought to myself, if college didn't work out, I could just drop out like May. The characters in the game are charming. Greg, Angus, May, B, and even Germ. Each of them has their own struggles, and the game is centralized around pretty heavy stuff. Things like depersonalization, anxiety, depression, the working class, and many more. Watching the game made me forget the things that make me anxious. But when they had their first band practice and Die Anywhere Else started, I was forced to think about death because the song is about dying anywhere else. But I remember feeling super relieved, like there's nothing that worries me anymore. The melody was great, and for me, the song has this message that says, you can just do whatever you want. For the first time, I care less about how I would die, and just like, whatever happens, happens. I don't care anymore. The song was beautiful, and it gave me an escape from my fears, or more like giving me a way to deal with them. I remember feeling that I wanted more when the first episode ended. I even have this screenshot of me begging Jack to play more. The feelings of nostalgia were huge in the game. When May found out that her favorite places were shut down and her childhood friends have changed, it was just so relatable. You're growing up and your childhood is left behind, and you just can't go back to it anymore. Lost forever in time. I was thinking about that when I was in college, like how things would change when I get back home, and things sure have changed. My best friend moved away, and my other best friend found other friends, and I was left with no friends. It sucks, I guess, but I guess we find nothing in each other anymore, only traces of old memory. The next thing that really helped me was when it was raining in the game, and this song started playing, and I have no words for it. It was really cozy, and you just feel safe, you know? I remember that I didn't want this game to end because I was afraid my anxiety would just come back. For me, Night in the Woods is a game about little things. You spend most of the time in the game talking to people and connect with your friends. You do crimes with Greg, go to parties with B, buying groceries, visiting the mall, eating donuts, listening to poems by Selmers, seeing the stars with Mr. Chazakov, watching Garbo and Malloy with Dad, or talk about stuff with Mom during the morning. The dialogue in the game is really well written, and I think that is what the game does best. It lets you grow attached to the characters, and I did. Anyway, the pacing of the game picked up after a mysterious figure, or a ghost as what May called it, kidnapped a teen during Harfest, although this was teased a bit when they found an arm outside the diner. This in turn led the group of 4 friends to investigate the so-called ghost, and it was one of my favorite moments in the game. You get the opportunity to spend more time with your friends, to know them better, especially Angus. Let's talk about Greg. He is May's best friend, and you can see him wearing cups on his ears, and you do dangerous things with him. He is full of energy and would always wiggle his arms frantically. But behind the energetic personality, there's a more vulnerable side of him that you get to see if you choose to hang out with him. You get to see this during their knife fight in the woods. It started off really energetically, but at the end of the session, he opened up about his feelings, about his fear of losing Angus. B even said that Greg might have bipolar disorder, and this might be the manifestation of his condition. He often wonders if he was a good person, and he said he would lie awake at night thinking about things he hates about himself. He and Angus are trying to save up some money to get out of Possum Springs, because apparently being the only queer people in town sucks. Even though I love Greg, I think B is a very underrated and misunderstood character, and I think she deserves May more than Greg because she was dealing with really heavy stuff. Greg has Angus to rely on, but B has no one. Her mom died from cancer, and because of the medical bill, they had to move out of their house and live in an apartment, and this gave his dad a mental breakdown. B felt obliged to take care of his dad and had to let go of her dreams. She worked all the time and her dad got the credit for it. She has a strained relationship with her dad and she thinks that her life ended when her mom died. She was mad at May for dropping out of college because it was one of the things that she really wanted the most, and May just threw it away. She would always go to parties out of town and pretend to be a college kid to feel normal, and fantasizing about the future she was going to have is an escape for her. As usual though, May would always screw things up even when she tries to help. But despite B's appearance and gloomy personality, she was very sweet and forgiving, because to her, May is just a kid even though B is 2 months younger than May. Then there's Angus, a quiet and shy bear that is Greg's boyfriend. Angus is special to me because I find some resemblance of me inside him. I'm not like Greg because I'm not very hyper, and I'm not like B either because I'm not a very gloomy person. I'm a bit like May and Angus, I guess. But if I had to choose, I would want to be like Angus, a person of science, a cook, and just a cool person in general for me. I would say I resonate with Angus the most, at least with his personality. During some time in the game, you would spend one time with Angus looking at constellations, and this very beautiful music just started playing, and it was one of my favorite moments in the game. Angus would talk about constellations, and then he opened up about his abusive childhood, that his dad would beat him a lot and his mom was somehow worse. She wouldn't feed him at times and locked him inside the pantry and slammed the door so hard that things would fall on him. Angus would try to use psychic powers to tell his neighbors or to unlatch the door, but it didn't work, and this is why Angus doesn't believe in the paranormal, ghost, or God. And during this time, I was dealing with God stuff too, thinking about the afterlife and all that. I just realized that this game deals with a lot of God stuff too. That May talk with God, how B used to think that God resides in the Fort Lucy Mall, and how Angus doesn't believe in God because he was abused and God just let him. Then there's May, the main character. I love her so much that I named mine mobile hotspot after her. I love that she doesn't care much about consequences. Although I don't appreciate her doing vandalism and shoplifting. Things seem okay at first, but then you realize she had done something terrible, and it was later revealed that she has some kind of dissociative disorder, that she would see things as near shapes and colors. During the climactic moment of the game, May has this weird moment where she was talking with the black goat. She said when she dies, she wanted it to hurt because it means she was at least something, and although this evoked my anxiety at the moment, I was really glad that May felt the same way. I felt understood, that someone gets me, even if it's a video game character. I know that someone out there is feeling the same way, so what if God wants me in hell? At least I have someone there with me, even when it hurts. At least it's better to be with someone than being alone, even when you're in hell. May is also seen as a kid to the townfolks, and even to some of her friends like B, who is younger than her. She lives in a world with no consequences, no jobs, no school, just wandering around and having fun. She even encourages her friend to live in the same way she does, but her friends are moving on from childhood. They're not children anymore, and they have responsibilities, something May is lacking. I guess I can relate to this as well. I never felt like an adult. I think me going to college even delayed my adulthood. Only after graduating from college that I feel like an adult, at least for a tiny bit. Even now I don't feel like an adult. Anyway, after they were stalked by the mysterious figure, they found out their hiding place in the woods near the old mines. The figures chased after the group and May fell, putting her in a coma. May survived and she went back to her friends at Greg's apartment. It was at this moment that May talked about her depersonalization, and the atmosphere during this moment was just so welcoming. I love the fact that Germ was there playing video games, Angus was cooking brownies, and Greg and B were there. It felt alive, and it feels like you can find some kind of comfort at that moment. May was safe, and I felt safe. Depending on your choice, you will either talk about your dissociation with Greg or B. I wish I could have friends like that, you know. But just when things started to look fine, May decided to go to the woods alone to meet those ghosts. But to my surprise, Greg, B, and Angus insisted to be there with May, and Greg even shot an arrow at one of them. They went into the old mines and met the group, or to be precise, the cult. They have been sacrificing people to a cosmic being called the Black Goat inside a hole in the mines. The cult decided to let them go, but one of them attacked May. The other saved May using the elevator and caused a cave-in. With the help of Germ, they got out of the mine safely and lived to tell the tale. By the way, they accidentally trapped the cult underground, probably killing them if they didn't resort to cannibalism first. That night, May wrote a heartfelt message to all of them, and the next day, they were thinking of doing band practice. May decided to tell her parents about why she left college, and they gathered for band practice. They tried to make sense of what was happening last night, but May didn't want to talk about it, and just want to eat pizza and play the song. But just before they started playing one last song, the game ended. And I was sad. The game left a deep impression on me. In college, whenever I feel down, I would always watch Jack play the game and always wanted to have the same experience as May when she got back from college, waiting for my family to pick me up at the bus station. I'm glad the game came out during my lowest moment in life. The game gave me solace by giving me a sense of community and friendship, and hope that somehow one day I can find friends like them. It gives me the courage to live a carefree life. I don't know how the game made me worry less about God, especially at times when I believed deeply in God. But it just did. Right now, I don't know if I believe in God anymore. All he ever does is to make people fear him, and really, for what? Anyway, I don't know what would happen to me if the game didn't come out, but I'm glad it came out to tell me that at the end of everything, just hold on to anything.